We are a strong nation, not in spite of a strong, vibrant immigrant population, but because of. We are a great nation and will continue to be a great nation if we embrace an immigration policy that relies upon legal immigration and embracing a stronger flow of legal immigrants, not only to this country, but into this state. That does not negate the reality and change the reality that we have a system, an immigration policy now, that penalizes those who obey the law and rewards those who break the law. And when I say rewards those who break the law, I'm not only talking about illegal aliens, I'm talking about, in many instances, the illegal contractors and the slumlords who employ and house these individuals and are part of that black market economy. 287G is a Homeland Security initiative that allows states, as I've suggested, to go into a memorandum of understanding with the federal government. It focuses like a surgical laser on criminal illegal aliens.
It's an ATM. It's not a bank machine. But an ATM is somebody who looks Mexican, who's walking down the street and somebody knows something about them. They probably don't have a bank account. If you don't have a bank account, where do you keep your cash? Keep it in your pocket, or you keep it at home. So you're an ATM, you can make a withdrawal. What's good about making a withdrawal from them? Well, if you're an undocumented Mexican and a withdrawal is made from you, you're not likely to go to the police. Why? Because maybe where you come from, you don't trust the police. And maybe you know if you do go to the police, you don't have a trusting relationship with them. Communities that don't have connections with their citizens and the people that live in them, that don't have strong cooperative community policing relationships with the people who live in their communities are not safe civil places for the people who looks like Mexican or someone's mind's eye who looks like it. Plays out in other ways, you know, too. Woman gets beaten up by her boyfriend. Boyfriend tells her something. Go to the police about this. Who am I going to go to? I'll go to ICE. I'll go to immigration on you. Separate you from your child. But by the way, your child is a United States citizen because he or she was born here 4 years ago. Photo ID card that's available to all city residents and is marketed to all city residents. It has a debit feature. You could actually load about $150 on it. It was just about a year ago we approved, our legislative body didn't have to approve the card, but had to approve accepting the money. They voted on June 4th, 2007 at about 8:30 at night to accept the card. They voted 25-1. In 33 hours, we had our first ICE raid in the city of New Haven. The ICE raid started at about 5:30 in the morning. The city learned about it when people started calling City Hall at 8 a.m. ICE is neglected to notify our police departments they were required to do when they came in. ICE that day, this is what we were doing, many of whom are our federal partners, were attempting to serve, they told us, 20 criminal warrants. They ended up serving 5 of the 20, but they ended up arresting 32 people. Trying to serve 20, found 5, arrested 32. Who were the other 27? They won the lottery that day. Undocumented residents pay more than their fair share of taxes. They do not commit crimes at a higher rate than native-born populations.
When we talk about the victimization of illegal aliens right now, in the state of New York alone, because of 1099 misclassification, there have been $4.5 billion of untaxable income. We have employers in the state of New York that pay illegal aliens, hand them a check. That illegal alien will then cash that check. That employer then demands to get half of that money back and takes that cash. That's exploitation. That's 1099 misclassification. $4.5 billion a year in untaxed income. We have folks living in attics in August at 110 degrees. They're living in mattresses, 20 to 30 in a basement. The places are honeycombed. There are fires. There have been deaths in the state of New York. That's victimization. But there's one statement that is very, very clear. Illegal immigration is illegal. 10% of illegal aliens coming across the border have a prior U.S. criminal history. We need to know who's in this country. And if you don't understand why that's important to national security, come to Jerusalem with me, come to Israel with me, and I'll show you why. But as far as fishing, 287G is not about fishing. The state can do a very specific memorandum of understanding to focus on sexual predators, drug gang-related activities, ID theft, and violent criminals. That's the focus of 287G. Anything else is hyperbole.
It's all about race. don't let anyone tell you it isn't about race. Immigration policy in this nation has always been about race. At the same time, the racial profiling exists. This from an affidavit that was taken from the New Haven raid in 2006 and went into a restaurant. This is from a white person. When they came in, they did not ask all of us for ID. Why not ask me or my son, just because our skin is white? They only asked Rosa and Maria. They went up to Rosa, one of the workers who was Hispanic, and asked her for her ID card. She got out of her pocketbook and showed her ID card and they said no. They walked her to the door. There were 5 of them. They didn't check anyone else other than those 2. They did not say they were looking for anyone specifically. In that case, it was entirely about race. And you can't solve a problem if you don't understand it. When I spoke to Secretary Chertoff after the raids in New Haven, I said, look, the goal here is not to create an enforcement-free zone. I'm not trying to be a sanctuary city. We're just trying to, be safe, go to work, and take care of our own. I absolutely think it's appropriate, and I expect my police department to cooperate with our federal partners. I think it's absolutely important to distinguish between criminal and civil warrants. We do it all the time. I mean, our cities are small in Connecticut. They run about 100 to 150,000. Any one of them are going to have 4,000 to 5,000 civil warrants outstanding at any given time. Failures to appear, alimony, child support, you name it. And to be honest with you, they, like a lot of civil warrants, don't get a lot of attention.
There probably isn't a single person in this room, I would hope, who wants to see more criminals, more sexual predators, more violent criminals, more rapists, more thugs on the streets of New York. Even the mayor just agreed. He wants to see these folks put in bars, and I hope after that point deported. The reality is in the state of New York, because we don't have an official memorandum of understanding with the federal government through the 287G agreement, these criminals are able to abscond back into the community, if they ever go to jail in the first place, to strike again. That's a serious, serious problem. And arguments that, well, if we crack down on rapists and ID theft rings, then people aren't going to give us information, it's absolutely specious, and it just doesn't make sense. We are a nation, and that means that we have borders, and those borders are secured by blood, by negotiation. They mean something. They mean something, and especially in the environment in which we live today.
America has gotten to be a great nation, and I'm not saying this with regard to anybody on this table, because I don't want to suggest referring this about you. We've never gotten there by being a racist nation. We've sort of gotten there in spite of being a racist nation in many respects. And I think it's by being an open, optimistic place. It's always what's been the best about America. So components of guest worker program. People should pay their taxes. Yeah, criminals should be put behind bars, deported as appropriate. Some pathway to citizenship. And I think that's what we're going to see in America in 2009.